afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Eagle Point Community Development District Board of Supervisors meeting. This is a special meeting. Today is Thursday, September 18th, 2025. The time is 5 p.m. We'll start with roll call with the board. Start down here at the end.
Kevin Gagne. Agabi.
William Hathaway.
Ron Berkowitz.
Okay. We have myself, Richard McGrath with GMS. We also do have District Counsel here, Michelle.
Hi, everyone. Good evening.
So I made you co-host as well on that, okay, Michelle, so you can mute and unmute as needed. And then we do also have CHI representatives here tonight. And then we also have the landscape bidder, which is the topic of discussion. So with that, we'll go ahead and jump into supervisor requests and audience comments. So this is an opportunity for audience members to speak on behalf of the board specific to the agenda. We've got agenda copies over here on the desk and sign-in sheet. So if anybody would like to speak concerning the agenda, we just ask that you state your name and address for the record, and please limit comments to 3 minutes. If there's anyone that is interested, just raise your hand and we will.
Just have a quick request. I mean, even though it doesn't have nothing to do with the agenda, but I would really like to honor it. We just need like a moment of silence for the loss of a child brother.
Okay.
Who, lost his life for freedom of speech. I would really like you to do the time and just a moment of silence. And
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Do like maybe how long would you like?
You can do 30 seconds.
Okay. So 30 seconds of silence, please.
Recording in progress.
Thank you.
Okay. So now with audience comments, if there's any audience members that would like to speak, we have 2 present tonight. If you'd like to speak specific to the agenda, we just ask you to raise your hand, state your name and address for the record, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Any audience comments specific to the agenda? Okay. Any supervisor requests at this time?
Nope.
No.
I just have some, since I'm assuming this is you guys' last meeting. Right?
Well, we do need to discuss with Kai about takeover because we have that October 2nd meeting. Our contract goes to the 5th. We had discussed a little bit at the last meeting about Kai possibly taking that meeting on the 2nd, which would mean we would end our contract probably the 1st or the 30th. But again, it would just depend on their capabilities. If not, then possibly pushing the meeting back if the board wanted Kai to run that meeting. So pushing that October 2nd meeting back a week, or GMS would still run that October 2nd meeting.
I just have something. All right, so, one of the purposes of the Sunshine Law is to promote transparency, to conduct business in the open. Kevin and his wife posted more than one time each that they are trying to be transparent in their Facebook posts, and that if any resident wants to know more, they can submit a FOIA request to the district for their emails. Multiple employees of GMS have made statements along the line of that we've made a hostile work environment, their employees not wanting to work with us, our community being too needy and high maintenance, and being inundated with requests from the board or our residents. However, when I pressed that our residents deserve to be provided with more specific information for the grounds of the resignation and why nothing was ever presented to the board as a whole, GMS and the law firm are not willing to provide any additional information in writing. This brings to question their true motives for their resignations. Per our contract with GMS and the law firm, there was no reason for either of them to say anything other than they were opting to use the 60-day termination clause and part ways with the district. So it brings to question why you would then say anything, especially if you're not willing to back it up. A few residents asked if there was something more or underlying because of the vague comments made by GMS and the law firm in their resignation. Since GMS was not willing to provide additional information other than claiming the quantity and tone and or language of Kevin's emails with GMS and or the law firm, that left submitting a public record request as the only option to bring clarity and transparency. After all, GMS says it's Kevin's emails, and Kevin says you're welcome to request my emails for transparency. As such, my wife submitted her own public record request for Kevin and Rabah's emails, as both Kevin and his wife suggested residents do. So you can imagine my surprise to come to a district board meeting for Kevin to abuse his position as chair and publicly bash my wife, James Casement, one of the residents who questioned the vagueness of the resignation letters, and the sitting board member during a board meeting in what appeared to be a planned and coordinated attack. He further utilized the attorney and GMS to allow over 30 minutes for the inappropriate attack of residents and a personal agenda during a district meeting, and then utilized the attorney and GMS to deny those residents an opportunity to respond to the public attacks. Interesting enough, the same two vendors who want to blame you for their resignation turn around and enable the personal attack on residents and a sitting board member during a meeting that's supposed to be kept in business, the district business. Now, the last question becomes, why is GMS intentionally attempting to prevent a resident from obtaining the very emails through a public record request that both sides of the matter claim to show the other is at fault? In any capacity, this scenario should be used by this board to realize the significance that the actions or inactions taken by each supervisor individually and collectively as the board have both on individual residents and the community as a whole. Supervisors should interact with residents and vendors in a respectful and professional manner. And if any supervisor is having issues with any vendor, we should present it to the entire board at a board meeting so the entire board is aware and to determine if the board needs to address the matter. So that's all I have to say. So hopefully everybody's in agreement that if we discuss this, if anybody has an issue, if we bring it up sooner, then we can address this and the whole board is aware of what's going on. So that way we don't end up with all of a sudden getting the wool pulled off from underneath us.
All I can say about that, but a lot of things don't change moving forward. Everybody's gonna be responsible for his acts. That's all I can say. It's not okay. It's the same thing like anybody just come and do stuff on anybody else. It cannot work like that. Anybody have any personal issues, keep them outside of this room. What matters is the community and the interest of the community. So yeah, moving forward with the new management company, we need to line up some necessary things. I'm not here to speak about GMS, they made it clear last time. I don't know what we keep talking about the same things, to be honest, but moving forward, a lot of things will change. Anything?
No, I have nothing to say. I said it all last meeting.
Ron?
No, I'm fine.
Well,
We're good.
all right, let's move forward.
Okay. I will just say, we obviously gave our response. It's been in writing. It's been in 2 meetings now. And then in addition to that, any requests are time to review cost money. It's statutorily required. And so our response was also sent on it. So with that, we'll continue on with meeting. So first item is business matters, acceptance of Supervisor Richards' resignation. So Leanne Richards did resign last meeting, before the meeting, so this would just be an acceptance of that resignation. That would make the seat vacant. The board can decide how to proceed. Again, the board is not required to fill the seat, but what we did last time is we put it out onto the website. It was available for basically advertising. We can put that up in the time being in the interim. When Kai takes over, they can handle it from there. But again, it's up to you and how you want to do that. So just some more direction on that. But with this, we would just be looking for a motion to accept Supervisor Richards.
I'll make a motion to accept and thank Leanne for the time she served on the board.
Okay.
Accept the resignation.
I second that.
Okay, so the first from Kevin, second from Rabah, all in favor?
Aye.
I would support your approach to advertise, put out there, email blast or whatever, that it's a position open and see if there's any interested residents in submitting.
Should we do it, since you guys still have like 2 weeks ago, should we do it now and then probably next meeting, maybe we're gonna appoint somebody? If somebody.
Well, typically, you'd want to give them a little bit of time, but you also want to make sure that what we often would do, at least how we would do it, is give it about a week out from the meeting. So you could do it for the next meeting. I don't know how much of a response you get, but again, it's up to you. We can put it up now. And if there's
I think there's
interest for the next meeting, you can
Sure.
discuss. If not,
What
you would
about-
just do it the next meeting.
Putting it out now, but would we be able to put Kai's contact information? So that way.
Yeah, well, I mean, again,
It's still not coming to you guys and then you're having to direct it to them since it's gonna be.
yeah, that's fine. We can do that. I would be okay with that. I mean, again, with these records transitions and stuff, when you're changing management like that, we reached out to Kai. We're currently coordinating records transfers, files, the paper files, all that stuff. Everything is on the server as well, so digitally. I mean, it's not a difficult transition. So anything
Well,
that
the
does
thing
come
for me
in,
is it's out there. So we had the issue before when we switched from Rosetta to GMS, that originally it was out there with Rosetta's information.
yeah.
And so we may have people trickling, still responding until it
That's
gets
fine.
updated, and
So we
then
can
you
do
guys
that.
are having to forward it, and they're having to figure out, did somebody reply or not, since, this is
Yeah.
already a done deal.
The only thing for my question would be is if, that would be working on the October 2nd meeting. So
I mean,
how we
we
proceed.
can always put it out there. If it didn't work for the October meeting, we just put it to the next meeting. Just at least we give time to people, if they wanna do it on.
Sure.
Just
Do you want to put an end date or do you just want to put it up and if?
Actually, it'd probably be better to put it for 7 days before the November meeting? So that way there's time to put it on the agenda. No, because that's only a week. You think you're gonna have, no, because you gotta put the agenda out a week before.
Yeah.
So,
You guys wanna do it for November? First meeting in
For-
November? All right, we'll do it for, then we'll just do it for November.
that way it gives enough time to people to find out about it, respond, think about it.
Okay. We'll put that in there. And again, with resumes and whatnot, we can make that change. We can put up ours for the interim just because we're here and then if we can collect, we can work that out. So. Okay. So with that, we do have consideration of US Lawn landscape proposal. So this is in your agenda packet. All right. This one. So it's on page 8. So, just as kind of a recap, so you do still have Prince and Sons as your landscapers. They gave a 90-day notice. They did ask to be let out earlier, after 30 days if possible. They are past that 30 days, but still within their 90 days. At the last meeting, we discussed landscaping. This was a landscaper that was provided by Supervisor Rabah. Again, you do not, with the cap on your landscaping, it's not a formal bid. So you can hire somebody now in the interim to let Prince go, if that's what you so choose. And then afterwards, you can do an actual more, again, it wouldn't be a formal RFP, but you can do some sort of RFP, down the road for more bidders, if you'd like. It's really just up to the board, but we do have a landscape proposal here. So if the board, would like to hear, speak, and it gives the opportunity to ask questions, and discuss, we can go from there.
Did you guys go through the proposals? You did?
Yes, I did.
I want to hear your opinion before you ask the guys, I want to hear every single one of you guys' opinions. We'll go from there. Any questions?
It looks very professional, as has everyone we had before, unfortunately. So I don't know how to judge because I don't know, their work, but, it looks great. I actually once, I guess, discuss that before the hearing from you guys, about what you think of what you've seen so far around here. Bond business.
What?
Roughly what would one yield? I know the type of plant that's put in, and obviously we're dealing with another property that seems to be taking the lead on what gets installed and then we're having to follow. But just like a rough estimate
I'm
for,
talking about, I'm assuming we start getting the money from them, right?
yeah,
From the dealer.
Yeah, it's still fun.
So the main entrance, as I explained to you guys, we have the middle and the left side. Then we have the right side, which belongs to the developed community. The developed community, they're providing us, I don't remember how much.
$200.
$250 a month.
A
or
month,
something
something
like
like
that.
that,
for the annual flowers, which usually that's what we match whatever they do. To look the same, so we probably look at these asking about, what's your guys' price, didn't have it over there?
No, it just says, on that one, I think
Because
it's
that's literally the only one we had to put annual flowers, I'm not even, we would like to continue doing that down the road or not, but, for the moment, I think that's what we're sticking with.
the way it's supposed to work, and it hasn't been smooth. Their landscape company is supposed to update you guys as to what and when they plan to do it. So that way we can somewhat do it around the same time. And obviously you may be using different vendors for where you're getting the plants from. So then, you know, obviously it's the best attempt we can make to match up. And I know there has been, I think before the hurricane last year, they had like 4 different color marigolds, and it was like something ridiculous, but generally, I don't know, there's been rumor that they changed landscapers, but I saw Sunshine out there the other day, but their annuals look like garbage, which is rare and for them, so I don't know, but usually it's roughly, I think, 4 times a year it's changed. And the way it was supposed to be worked out is they're supposed to coordinate with you guys to say, hey, we're about to change them and this is what we're going to. So that way we have to go out, see what's available and attempt to match.
The thing is, we are not going to be picky about it, because of course, I'm really sure they would never communicate with you guys. 100% helps us about it. So yeah, it's going to be probably a gap of a week or 2, no big deal. I mean, that's like one of the issues, like, it's not a big deal, but it bothers me. I think down the road we should decide what we're going to do with this specific piece over there. So I don't have to mention nobody or worry about anybody else, you know. We just for the moment decide that we share the same entrance and they have side of it, you know. I don't know if we can contact them. I mean, maybe through our new management company and just.
I mean, I think you guys have been in contact with them, right? I mean, it's been up and down. But in general, they normally.
So this is what I was thinking, instead of them giving us the money and us doing it, I mean, I hate you guys to lose dollars with that, but when they do both in the same shot.
We do all of it, or
They do all of it. Yeah, we just forget about it, it's like, hey, because
I mean, that was all negotiated before the homeowners took over the board, so I don't see why we can't.
Yeah, I think
Come back to them.
we can
and
reach
say,
out to them. for the
let's do a
tax.
better.
The 2 and just have them.
Yeah, like instead of us receiving the money, they just, you know, they just do it by themselves.
It's all done at the same
Yeah.
time, and then we don't have to worry.
Or if they want us to do it the other way, it's gonna be our guys who's doing it. We can do that for them, but of course, they're gonna pay the entire portion as well. You know, instead of like, he's waiting, I'm waiting, which.
Yeah,
doing one
there's no reason to have the time, you just have one person, one way or the other, take care of it.
Exactly, I think that's the best way to do it.
And from our position, if they're already doing it, that seems like a really good solve to that problem. If they can work that out, totally fine.
Yeah.
And we would maintain, we'll still like beat them when they need to be beat during our service.
Yeah.
Part of the install.
It just was, people spent completely wrong since the beginning, so. Because it's a thing developed from here and there. And it created all this thing. At the end of the day, I think that's the best way to approach it, man.
Easy enough.
Yeah. Any other questions for landscapers?
Well, I'm sorry. So, one, thank you for the proposal, and to back what Kevin said, it is professionally done. So one question is, you state you would do the lawns around the entrances and the clubhouse and stuff 39 to 40 times per year, but only the lakes and roadways and everything else 36. Why is the difference?
The frequency?
Yeah,
So around the lakes and those areas where we reduced the frequency to 36, it's unirrigated. So oftentimes when you get to like that October 15th, November 1st, that particular kind of grass is the area, will tend to start going dormant, and it just doesn't
Okay.
need as much mowing and attention as where your St. Augustine irrigated lawns are, so.
okay. And then I have, one more question. Thank you for that. So there's, actually one time I walked around with the prior, landscape company, and we walked around in here, the pool area. And the gentleman I was speaking to, actually, they didn't have a fob. I had to come run down the fob to let him in over here. They actually made a comment that all the palms in there are probably gonna be dead within a year.
They're extremely deficient and need major fertilization if we have like immediately.
Okay.
That was one of the first things we noticed.
Yeah, you know, that's me.
Whoever, I can't speak on what was done or not, but to me, it's a total lack of fertilization.
Okay, so he said there was some kind of fungus going around, there was other stuff. So my question would be, one, some disease or whatever. One, if we could pay attention to that, and then two, what would you guys recommend besides putting palms back in? Is there something else? Whether it's just for aesthetics or something different. But yeah, that would be my one thing is, more like question comment is, what was your guys' opinions on that?
So if we were to be awarded the contract, one of the first things we're gonna do is we're gonna come out, liquid fertilize, and immediately we'll top that over with, granular fertilization. We're probably gonna need to do that 2 or 3 times, like in the first 90 days, to get those to green back up to where they should be. They are in jeopardy, if nothing was done and it went on another year or two, just the manganese deficiency alone is shrivel them up. We can also produce a palm that way, especially our exotic palms. So it's trending in that direction. I don't think that they're in jeopardy of losing as long as whoever you hire gets out here and deal with that right away. I haven't seen any mushroom comps on the bottoms of them. When you talk about fungus disease that are killing palms, it's a real thing. It's called Ganoderma. Oftentimes we'll see a mushroom conch on the very bottom of the base. It's very easy to spot. I didn't see that yet, but I haven't seen that it's palm either. And the other viral disease is called Texas Phoenix palm decline, and that's going around pretty good. But none of these look like, in my opinion, have any of those diseases or fungus. It really just appears to be a lack of nutrition.
Okay,
Talking about,
thank you.
injections?
We can inject, that would be my last alternative, to be honest with you. You can do a lot of it with just liquid, drenching, call it drenching. You can crown drench a palm. The last, when you import a palm, it's good in dire situations to save it. Once you put a hole inside of a palm tree, you never recover, right? It's not even really true. Classified as a medium. So it'll never recover back that forward. In fact, that forward can actually allow insects and other things to happen down the road. Oftentimes it doesn't, but it can do that. So that's just like a last, in our position, that would be like the last piece.
All right, so I want
Thank you.
I'll go on talk to you guys and stuff, but again, I'm just go through some stuff in front of everybody here, so everybody can be the same page. We are, so for whoever vendor we do, I mean, I don't see no reason why not to go with you guys tonight, but I'm just saying, like, the point is build a relationship, honest and communication. That's what matters. The same thing for Kai, who's your community manager. You, okay, so, I'm assuming you have, just to name the field, you have a field manager?
Yes, yeah,
All right.
yeah.
All right. So, let me ask this, the board, one more time. Do you guys mind me being the contact for the landscape?
I don't mind.
No,
No, I think it's a,
wait, all right. So we're gonna make it clear from this minute, any communication, I think is gonna be you and me, yeah. So basically with your field manager, and then I need to be copied in every single email. Sure. Even if it's a good morning email, I need to be copied. That's how simple it is. I don't like to stay in the dark. I like to be, and the thing is, that doesn't mean if something is well accomplished, I'll be mad. I just need to be aware. That's simple that. Right. Nobody's gonna get blamed for anything like that. That's one thing. And the second thing is if you can explain, because it's not Portland, we live in Florida, if you can explain the hurricane cleanup to all of us to give them a good idea, and then we go into full budget. You can explain it to us.
You want to talk on that? So we got really good at hurricanes over the last few years, unfortunately, right? We just, the first one that came in that really impacted us was Ian. That was several years back, right? And we learned a lot from that hurricane. It's really the first time, under my wing as an operations guy, I've been there for 12 years, with US Laws. And that was the first one that really impacted our territory in a significant way. We've learned a lot since then, and in the last year, with the 3 that came in a row, we got really good at it. We got really efficient at it. We understood like how to prioritize. What we started to do when hurricanes come, we're going to set a blast out. Oftentimes we know 4 or 5 days in advance. It's something like a direct hit, obviously, at that point, when we get to that point, everybody's, starting to gear up for a storm impact. We're going to communicate. We're going to start sending emails, right? We're going to rely on reports because after the day of impact, what we set out ahead of time, we got this like 3 pricing sheet, and it tells you if your property gets hit very bad, a lot of trees are over, we need to bring skid steers or whatever the case may be. It's outlined. That's the cost to expect, right? And then that very next morning, we become first responders. We get certified letters, things we drive around, and then we start going to all the properties. We're going to ask you ahead of time, like when you wake up, if you have something blocking your roadway, like the tree came down, take a picture, let us know immediately in those situations. Trees on roofs blocking roadway, that's going to take top priority. We're going to come out there and at least cut that tree up, and we'll move it to the side of the road so there's flow, right? That's where we start at with prioritizing. There's constant communication through that as we're working with you almost at the daily. We got to the point where we were doing daily, like recapping what we did that day, give it to the board. Hey, this is where we're at. This is what we spent today. This is what we're focused on. How many dump trucks, how many trees you have down on the state, so on and so forth. And just giving you all the information that we're seeing as we go through, and you guys get back to us and say, yeah, proceed, let's keep cleaning up going, so on and so forth. It's basically the gist of it. But like you commented on earlier, it all hurricane cleanup, and it's territory wide, so everybody's in need, and we're going to prioritize to like most emergency situations first, and then we'll go. Constant communication. For instance, we'll be talking to you on the phone, via email daily, and like that. Hopefully, we don't have one anytime soon. Yeah, but if they do, I'm pretty confident. We're able to keep folks.
So, just to be clear, the hurricane cleanup thing is not part of the contract. It's a separate thing. The thing is, what I'm trying to do, if the prices looks fine for you guys for the hurricane cleanup and stuff like that, well, basically what it is, we're going to hire them tonight to work for us, lock in the thing with them as well, and that's what we want. Because we can say like, hey, we won't think about it as needed, and then whenever hurricane happens, we contact them. I can blame they don't go to whoever they have a contract with, for simple like that. So
that's a good point. So a lot of people don't, they can send that back right away. They were kind of hoping like maybe we're not going to get the brunt of it. It kind of came in emergency situations first, and then if we have documentation that it's signed already, then we already know that we should send a team out there, a 3-man team, a 4-man team. And then we were getting calls from people that day, they're like, hey, we really need you. Do you have an emergency? Not necessarily an emergency, we just got some trees down. And unfortunately, we had to go to the back to where these people that signed first just took priority, right? And we ended up getting everybody in a timely fashion, but sometimes people are patient. They're like, I just want this cleaned up. And
yeah.
If that's the case here, I would highly recommend it.
That's what I mentioned that, so what do you guys think about that?
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, usually there's
Some kind of a service agreement,
yeah. So.
Kevin? The other question is, you can tell me a little bit, tell us a little bit more about your irrigation team.
Okay, I'll speak to that. So our irrigation team is a 4-man outfit now. There's 4 vehicles. We have a manager in charge of that crew to kind of look at it. It's all under an umbrella of one organization, but we task our individual like horticultural department irrigation department, our landscaping, enhancement team. They're kind of like their own entities in one umbrella, right? So we look at that like its own little business inside of our business. We're pretty efficient, got really big guys, we want the manager running away. That want to do it. We would welcome any board member and all of you guys to walk with us definitely on the first inspection. That's important. I tell everybody that, because we don't know what we're gonna find. You guys really don't know what's out there unless you walk with the current company.
The reason I mentioned communication earlier, because out of this room, we cannot even meet two of us to do business.
Oh, that's it.
It's not an HOA, it's a CDD, it's not the same, yeah. So that's why we have a person that, takes care of like every single individual, like, let's say me for landscaping or Kevin for the medicine and stuff like that. So that's why we cannot have two board members or even more with that same, topic. You cannot even talk about it. I'm trying to say, there's some law, but that's good. I mean, the other question I'm gonna ask about is, well, it's in the estimate as well. It's not a question just to have my friends here understand. We're gonna have a monthly irrigation inspection. My understanding to the contractor, it says it's included in the contract, so there's no charge for it, but any repairs and stuff like that, it is gonna be a charge. Is that right?
That's correct.
So this one comes to the monthly reports, it's, you guys are, so, Eric, it's a big deal. So I'm hoping you guys are gonna be the top of the game. I mean, as I mentioned to you guys before, there's not a lot of irrigations. You have an amenity center here, you have outside the wall and the entrances. So I have, to be honest, I don't know how many boxes we have. Do you have any idea?
No, but I still question whether we fully know the full.
Yeah.
And to your point, so there is, I believe this has been brought up more than one time, and I don't know if we've done a walkthrough with and either of the previous landscapers, but I know, so from along Carter, when you go from our back entrance to Breakers Lane and head south back towards Moccasin Wallow, on the inside of the wall, for some reason, there's irrigation. And there's some struggling shrubs that the previous landscaper was like, oh yeah, you need to replace all of these. Multiple times, homeowners have seen issues with that landscaping line. I don't know if it's a drip line, but I've seen it and taken a picture over a year ago when Rosetta was still the management company, that literally the water was shooting straight out of one of the things. And I'm like, if that's a drip line, that ain't dripping.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of shrubs along that, or it's supposed to be a hedge, it's not growing. And a lot of it is dying. And one, the question is, why would we want to replace the inside to start with? But two, we sure as heck don't want to pay to replace anything if the irrigation still 2 years later isn't working properly. So there's still a question of the full landscaping or irrigation and what's going on, where it is.
So it is a drip line. It looks like the section for some reason gets always down. I'm wondering if it's, when you see like water shooting like that, I mean, the line is broken, because a lot of people think if it's a drip line, there's not a lot of pressure. It is a lot of pressure. But basically, that's one of the things in the irrigation you need to pay attention to, the specific section. I mean, you're gonna have to replace the entire drip line, maybe there's gonna be an option, which I don't think so. Probably gonna be like old pieces that get like dry from the sun and then crack,
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Cut out, like,
Yeah.
where the damage, and it's really.
Connected, yeah, that's one thing. I want to mention the one thing too, so let's say we move forward with you guys and we decided to move with you. See, when it comes to I know you have it in the contract, the number of cuts and everything like that. Me personally, I want to hear from you guys, so like, I'm not expecting you to cut the grass when it's too wet. With that being said, I don't want you either to like basically, oh, I missed a cut, now I have to shove another one, just, to shove it. If there's always there's ways to work, let's say if it's a rainy day, I'm not expecting you guys, as I said, to cut grass, but there's other stuff. I'm not answering a question of, oh, you're supposed to have 4 cuts this month, you got only 3, I'm gonna try to cut you, but there's other stuff to do. For example,
It's like a preserve, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
You're talking about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we would do, and you'll certainly get communication from Francisco, but oftentimes too, the good thing about Francisco being on this account is, number one, he's a tremendous, account manager, and him and I have been right-hand man to each other for going on 9 years now. I know what he's capable, I know how he works, and he does a great job. He also lives 7 minutes away from the property, so like, if there was an emergency and you needed him, he's gonna be here. So with all that being said, when tremendous rain comes over here, he's gonna have a good idea of like, we're probably not gonna be able to mow, you know, on this day, because I can just experience the same rainfall that you guys. So he'll call you, you guys will chat, and you'll say, you know what, it's too wet, why don't you send all that labor, we're still gonna send the same amount of people. Why don't you guys start switching back some of those preserves that are way overgrown along the lake base?
Exactly.
And we'll do all that,
Yeah.
because the labor is the labor.
Exactly.
Doesn't really-
No, that's
all our.
That's exactly my point. The other thing I wanna ask, what's the manpower, it's gonna be 5, or what is it? What do you guys have in hand?
I don't even remember what they called the sheet, I think it was,
I think it's between 5 and 7. Just really depending, obviously the first couple of weeks will be a little hard to navigate and guarding the property, you know, stuff like that, and teaching the guys the, you know,
The map and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, let's figure around that, just kind of looking into
All right.
how we can be efficient and.
Yeah.
We're always investing in new, you know, equipment and technology, so, you know, our job is to try to, you know, do.
I heard you guys have the Batman, lawnmower.
so Batmobile?
Yeah.
We do, and so internally, we've been strategizing, if we were awarded the job, at Stefan's point, we're gonna look at the best equipment to do the job, so it might not just be your average 52-inch mower. We might go invest in a different type of machine, and if we do that, that machine is wider, it can cut more grass, it might reduce the labor, but the grass is still gonna get cut on the same frequency. We'll figure that stuff out internally, and if we move forward with stuff like that, we communicate that.
Yeah, perfect. The other, I mean, we did talk about that, so the most complaint we got from the homeowners, this is from previous landscapers we had issues going on, is whenever they cut, let's say it was raining a couple days, or the grass is long, they cut it. Me personally, that's how I see it. If you're doing business with me, you need to pay attention to details, or just small details. You do one pass, and you can keep a clumps of the cuts like that and just leave it over top.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't hurt to do another pass, small to be done with it.
Oh,
You know what I'm trying to say? That's one of the things. There's the other thing is like, by the preserves, when you cut, you cannot leave the grass by the preserve like high, like getting to be wet. You know, it's just simple things here and there. Any other issues?
Actually, there's one just on with the irrigation, that, whatever that backflow thing is, or whatever, a breaker
And
lane.
they fixed it.
So that's all
That's
done,
done, yeah.
so
They
we don't
did
need
put
them
stuff
to come in and do
to
anything.
do that.
Yeah, but it's one of the questions I want to ask them about, but I also want to talk about the matters that's in progress.
So the map, we want to provide you guys, they know about it, the Carver Road section wasn't included in the map, we did talk about it, that's going to be part of it. We did get a new detailed map from our engineer, which is going to show you exactly what to stop and what to do. And it's the same, literally same map, but more details. The reason I'm saying this, it happened before where like, it's not our section to do, and the landscaper do it, and guess what? It's a homeowner's property, and we have a lot of guys here that are obsessed with lot. I mean, I'm one of them. We compete in this neighborhood, and guess what? You cut it in 1 inch, you cut some of this in 1 inch, that's a problem, and we don't want to deal with that at all. So what I was thinking to do, maybe the first services, I'm gonna try my best to be around here, just to specifically those areas, slowly a couple areas. Other than that, it's just simple,
yeah, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bunch of community knowledge that you have and can share with us, especially with the first meeting, but even on the meetings, that we could greatly benefit us from, really appreciate.
Go ahead. Still on that though, so we got this map that was put together with the detailed properties, so it's very clear where behind some of the houses, the CDD has its strip. And there's a couple of roads, just, mine, Mercator and, half an hour on the other side. where it looks just like every other property with a slope, you know, a yard and a slope, but that's the private property all the way out to the preserve and zone code there. And so this map makes that much clearer, the color is much better, the one you have right now is gonna be pretty much the same, and as Robin mentioned, it was missing the strip across the front. This map is, the intent was to make it, color it the same, but to be able to have, for us to show more level of detail to avoid that, those kind of mistakes.
Including the house. So.
And yeah, and the other thing on that is, and this is what I want to ask Rabah, the areas that our engineer identified as, preserved, boundary areas that's supposed to actually be maintained for drainage purposes, drainage, flood volume, storage volume, drainage, they've allowed to overgrow, and it's impeding water, it's causing backup in some of the ponds. Those are identified on this map, this new map, not the previous map. And I don't know if
I talked to them, because one of my house is Drake, you guys remember that one? We have like 3 of them. Those ones, we can always come to an agreement, like if you guys want, that's something for us to decide. If you guys want to do it as needed, or you guys want to do it like, hey, we just want to go to a specific section, maybe to keep maintaining it all the time, which me personally, the way I see it, I don't really think we need to do it all the time. It's probably every quarter, every quarter of those sections, it's literally, there's a drain up there that so it grows, stuff and grows on top of it, you just clear the stuff. I think quarterly will be, you know, more fair, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons I wanted to send you the map. I wanted to make sure that the areas of color that he's referring to, we agree, you know, that you're not missing any that you're aware of or anything like that, and that these gentlemen, will also be aware of it, and we can come up with a quarterly schedule or something to paint them so they don't get forgotten and overgrown. It was, I never realized it was such a big concern, I didn't know, but it's a huge concern because it's changing the pond levels and the next hurricane you get. That's true, so.
I mean, just the rain we had a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Water was literally, you saw it all right? Yeah, it was.
So you can get that to them once, is everyone looking at that? Any other comments about areas on that map?
No.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff and I went back, what, 3-4 times.
Yeah, I really, we
Yeah.
have them as
So-
so.
So you can get that to them electronically,
Yeah.
PDF, it's not something you're gonna print, you know, that was the reason we ended up with what you got. It was recommended to us that something very simple, something you can print to use, but every time we went out to bid, we got screwed. This, that shit. So now we have this available in electronic format, it's gonna be very accurate with all the properties, and that's what we should have that, so you're aware of that. The other question I have is, well, just a case scenario, I would like to understand how you handle, non-monthly web checks, when they just come up. Now, I've been privy to
It's an emergency.
a half a dozen or a dozen, someone posts on Facebook or sends me a message and just showed me why I was sorting out at this corner, that corner, this corner. And so we would typically, in the past, anyway, we would inform our management company and they would inform our vendor. And so, yeah, I'm wondering how those situations are handled and in what sort of time frame. A case in point would be up over here on Breakers Lane, right in the entrance of the property. Someone made a Facebook post, water gushing and bubbling, and it was right under the edge of someone's property. So it's basically for lawn, but not really for lawn, but there's, you know, imaginary property line between CDD and their lot. So this is coming up, it's going over the sidewalk. People are like pointing it out. Calls were made to our management company, the calls were made to the county, because no one knows what it is. Whether it's a water main coming in, you know, through the community for water or fresh water, whether it's irrigation line. So it turns out, the county got it first. They shut it off, so, and they said, it's not our water, we shut it off, but it's one of your landscaping irrigation lines. So that information is conveyed to our management company, which then says to you, oh, you know, first they told you about it, I don't know how sure you'd have been there anyway, but our landscaper wasn't there before the county got there. Next thing, you're informed, the county's already been here and it is an irrigation line. How long, and it's a main, it's feeding the community, how long to fix that?
So mainline is our top priority, especially, just in the dry season, right? So if there's two ways to answer this question.
I mean, there could be parts, okay, hard to get parts, I'm told.
Those days, that was true a little while back.
Okay, but this particular scenario, we were told that we got, that it was adequately addressed when it was 28 days.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Yeah. We're gonna go, I'm gonna say 72, and it's probably within 24. Yeah.
A midline is a big issue.
Yeah, it's a big deal for us. If you have a stuck valve, we're on it. So we have 5 different vehicles. They're all parted up. The only time we really need to go to a parts store if it's something unique. But typical irrigation from 1/2 inch on up to 3 inch, we have all the comforts in the pipe and the the wires, the valves, all that stuff's already in, the heads, the nozzles, everything. It's already in each individual truck. So it's really just a matter, and there's always gonna be somebody in this area, whether he's 5 minutes down the road doing this inspection at that job. If you send him a picture of a guy, in fact, Francisco, if it's just a geyser, he'll come out and take it over himself.
It's a simple thing, obviously.
I know it's doing it, yeah.
From my standpoint, it's extremely frustrating to be gaslighted and told that this is an inadequate level of response, and also criticized for being too overly demanding when saying you don't think that is adequate. You know what I'm saying?
We got that 28 days.
This is a main that feeds who knows what in the community.
Right.
And the answer is, it was perfectly adequate. We had to get special parts, and it was raining anyway, so we would probably not even use that one. Like, that doesn't fly with me.
Now, you still want the problem fixed, pretty quickly.
Right.
And we would do that for you. And to your point, 28 days, if it wasn't raining, then you're jeopardizing the integrity of the plants, the grass. At that point, you're starting to lose them. If you're not getting this.
Okay, well, then,
So it also just mention, we've been around for 35 years, so over 35 years, so we, we have a solid reputation and we're gonna deliver
Right.
quality, and that communication is something we've been talking about from the beginning, and I think we've started to show that already. So, we'll be.
that's the crux of it there as well, because it was 28 days of not being updated and actually assuming that it would be taken care of, because, so the communication along the way, even if it's bad news, is critical.
At least I know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Um,
Our team, Francisco and Colin, they sit with our irrigation manager in the same office, so they're talking every morning.
Every morning we have a meeting, it's called the plan of the day, our dispatch meeting, so, in fact, we actually implement what we talked about the day before. The day before our plan of the day gets put together, in that morning, we dispatch everybody accordingly, we don't deviate from that unless it's an emergency situation. And we're very fluid and good at being able to adjust to the client's needs. And just one other thing real quick, so that everybody's aware, this is the owner, I'm the operations manager, this is the senior account manager, and my right hand man for almost a decade now. We're the three that, there's actually a couple more layers that are just not here with us. But this three right here is who's gonna make everything happen on the day to day. We're gonna, so you're seeing who's actually coming out and working, and who's gonna be part of your team now. There's nobody else, you're dealing directly with this.
Perfect. But with that being said too, so, because every community is different. Some boards, they prefer to have, let's say, maybe either meeting or representative or landscaping. I don't see a need for that, to be honest. Do you guys want, let's say, like Francisco present during every single meeting? The way I see the best way to do it is you have a monthly report for the community, you submit it to the management company, and we're here discussing it. I don't want to make you present here every single meeting at 5 PM, probably on Saturday. What do you guys think about that? Of course, only if there is. Yeah, if there is something, a big project or something like that, of course, we're gonna, hey, make sure you're gonna be present during this meeting.
Right.
Just throwing that at that, let's say, we are willing to have, mulch. That's a consuming money, hey, you guys can just please send somebody to be present during today's meeting, give us options so we can talk about it, you know what I'm trying to say?
Sure.
But for the normal thing, all we need is literally a report Basically, a monthly report from the property. What was done, what wasn't done, if there is any issue, so that's the other thing. Don't expect me to find the issues, I would really like, it's like if there's issues, it's like, hey, you guys have an issue here and here, and this is what we're working at. And of course, if I see an issue as well, I'll contact both of you guys, hey, and then you can put in the report and this is what it is, kind of say.
Sure.
So, yeah, that's something, what do you guys think about that?
That's exactly how it should be. You're hiring us to do a job. You're gonna oversee it, obviously, but we're gonna do our best, and give you those reports. Like, for instance, when I'm walking up here, I see numerous dead plants right out here in Indian Hollow. That would already be presented to you guys and go, hey, on day one for us coming into that, I don't know how they died or why, or this irrigation part related, who knows at this point. But I would tell you, if we see one or two dead plants, we're gonna communicate that.
Right.
And we got a couple of dead plants over here for, the mulch is very thin here, kind of snap a picture, just to give you different things that we're thinking through. We're always gonna think of improving the property, and how we can do that, so we're gonna constantly give you suggestions on that, along with just a general maintenance report of what we're seeing in the field. And then we're just giving you information and what you guys want to do with it, or more than that.
That's all we have, to be honest. And, when it comes to this scope of work we talked about this last time and we'll talk about it again, but it is what it is. The entire community, you guys saw it, it's pond behind houses, high res, it's not science. We just kind of keep moving forward. The most important pieces, as I mentioned to you before, is the amenity center here and the entrance. That's just literally what it is. And, we did talk about it, I think we did talk about it before. It's literally, there's no son of the universe behind the wall. It's already done. That's gonna be another project, probably during the fall, we will have to reseed with the setup for both kind of. We'll just reseed to make those areas that already get back from change bogs to come back to life.
Oh, maybe ryegrass.
It's Sonic Steam's done.
Yeah.
There's no Sonic Steam.
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, that's, again, this whole project, we would love to do any kind of project with you guys instead of looking for somebody else to do a project. Just an example for mulch. Of course, if the numbers are right and everything is good, why would they give my business to somebody else instead of have a vendor that can work with?
No,
Just an example, trying to say. So, yeah, any other questions?
Only thing I would ask is I noticed in the proposal, it talks about like setting pre-approval amounts. I know we're looking at going forward with a meeting each month now. So I don't know, I know you guys don't have your landscape or your irrigation team here, but I think that would be more the issue of one that obviously if something happened, it's an emergency, obviously it needs to get fixed and it will come back to us. But the only question is, at least per their proposal, saying, do we want to set a pre-approval amount?
Actually, that's how we said it. When I was the liaison, I was like, I love for a certain amount, but if I'm not mistaken, even the community manager is going to have a certain amount of money to,
We have emergency spending,
yeah.
so the emergency spending resolution, but the board can do allowances as you see fit. You could do a field allowance, do a landscape allowance to fix certain things.
Yes, like
it depends on how you want to do with the contract.
I think kind of this would be directly, they would know and why they're there at the moment. If our limit is $1,000, then they can say, okay, this will be less than 1,000, they can go ahead and change it. Instead of then having to coordinate back and try to chase somebody down to then either get to the district manager's threshold or whatever. So that way they could move forward with stuff. It's I think how they're trying to gear up that, and I think there was one other area that.
So how about this? It's, I see what you're talking about. There's going to be more affected with I would say a board that is not involved. I'm really involved. So you can, if something like a big emergency spending, you guys can always have a certain amount of dollars to whenever they reach out to me, there's this issue and blah, 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 you can just, I'm like, hey.
Again, that's a board decision of how you want to proceed. If you want to allow an allowance of some kind or liaison or whatnot.
Roughly, what would, I know decoders, different things, they vary in price, but what would be like an average price of if something went down, that's not the whole, like a significant portion of the system, because obviously that would just be an emergency and it is what it is.
Anywhere between $30 and $50, right? On a property your size, if you were to go that way, and I'll speak a little bit further on that, I think that the property your size, what you're doing, the appropriate, if you implement a pre-approved amount, an appropriate amount for a property this size would be between 5 and 800, is what we see on other books of business that are similar to this. Now, with all that basis, what does that do for you guys? And for us, it allows our technician during that check to fix things while he's there. He's still gonna report it, give you a report. And so that eliminates the turnaround time. So instead of him coming back to the office, filling out his report, our office manager then types it up. She puts it on like a quick book estimate. That gets sent over to Francisco. The following morning, he would send it to you, into you guys, and then collectively, you guys would make a decision to move forward with repair. Now, my technician that did that inspection might not be in this exact area 2 days later. It might take us 4 or 5 days to get back out and do that approved work. So that pre-approved amount eliminates that whole step basically.
So-
to get all the money.
So what he's talking about is, no, getting it more, we're talking about small things.
Yeah.
My concern is like about the big things.
Right. Now, if it was a big thing, like if it's gonna eat up, if it would eat up that whole cap, then we would call you. Like if it's a main line or a decoder, you have a 2-wire system. Unfortunately, I don't know if you guys are even grounded. I didn't see any grounding rods, but we haven't really done a thorough.
I would say we're not, because a couple years ago, one of our electric boxes for one of the pumps or something like that actually got struck. It got direct strike by lightning, and that's why from that crappy black fencing in between the concrete wall when you're getting to the curve of on Carter, from there to Breaker Lane, that was without irrigation for a couple months 2 years ago, dealing with a direct lightning hit. And then I think we got charged almost 10, it was like $9,600 to replace the box and the electrical work. And so everything's still struggled out there since then, but I mean, so yeah, I would say there's no branding anyway.
If it's head, it's going to be entire.
All the way down the wire until the junction, right, until it splits. So that's all your decoders. It can mess your valves up. Decoders are 200. We buy them.
The ones we have, like, the average about like 150 to 200.
Yeah, I didn't even see what. Yeah. But so yeah, I mean, 150 to $300 depending on if it's Tuesday or whatever, on their rate, whatever you're using. But I would highly recommend, whether we do it or not, it doesn't really matter. The system should be grounded, because one lightning strike, you're talking about $10,000, right? You already saw that, so it could be a lot worse. I've seen whole systems from the timer out like $20,000, $30,000.
Everything's burst, right? Yeah, I was thinking about it, to be honest with you. Is that something you guys can do?
We could do
So
it.
probably it doesn't hurt to get an estimate from down the road. I mean, I would spend some money then upfront.
Well, I mean, no offense, we still don't know the full system, and we don't know the quality of what we have. So we, we're open to an evaluation, letting us know.
With that being said, so I would as well would like to know more, like, I don't know if that would be available to make the technician here or not, but if I'm not here, I would really like to get for all of us actually, a detailed report of our irrigation system. I'm not expecting him to, I mean, if he does, it's not something I want to reach out to you, but if he's going to flag the entire, but you will have reference to know what we have, how many zones we have and stuff like that, would be really appreciated.
We can get it down to the zones, go into each individual. So each zone, when you're talking about spray heads, probably have anywhere between 20 and 30. We'll give you a color coordinated map, and it's gonna show you zone 1, zone 2, it'll be a different color. It'll tell you sprays, rotors, or drip line. We can pretty much, I don't wanna speak too much, because I don't know yet, but in a newer development, which I think this one is, I've already seen boxes that were exposed, so we're not buried underground yet. So I don't think it would be too hard for us to find actually about location. In the event that somewhere buried, we can't wait to pull out a tracker, then that can be time consuming, and if that's the case, we'll have further discussions on that. But you know, we wanna come to work for you, that's something we can do.
Yeah.
For you guys right off the bat, and show you that what we want.
The only thing I know about our irrigation system, we supposedly have one of the best irrigation systems. That's the only thing I've been hearing from every single.
I think that's what they claim just because it's hunters,
I don't know.
units or whatever,
It's
but, you know, at the end of the day, it's.
Yeah, but as I mentioned
Still
before,
breaks.
we somehow we're lucky, it's not like a massive association, just an example, like Artisan Lakes, it's a nightmare, like sprinklers and irrigation everywhere, and it's good luck with that. But here, it's literally, as I said, we already know what sections are irrigated or not, so it shouldn't be that difficult for all of us to work together.
It's having the right, 2 wires can be complicated. There's a lot of people out in the community that are, they talk irrigation and they don't have the right trackers, they don't have the right meters.
Yeah.
They can't read the ohms off of the decoder, they don't even know how to program the decoder the right way.
That's a
So
problem.
then ultimately, you can really screw up a 2-wire system very quick, and then it's really hard to go back and recover that without somebody having the training to do it. And we put, in fact, for instance, we're just at a training seminar today. We constantly, are going to these 100 reps, wherever they're having their meetings, we're constantly trying to learn and they can stay up on what's happening. Things are constantly changing, out in the field, so, and we invest.
Yeah.
That's terrific for you guys.
That's a good thing to know. I was gonna say something, but yeah. So you wanna have
Just
like,
just to circle back to that cap, just to make that clear, it sounded like we got to, it's less for the emergency stuff, but that might be a little higher priced, just because it might be a bigger issue, but that's more suited to get the repairs done there.
yeah, thank you for reminding me, so should we put like 1,000? Or like a
I
small?
mean, that's what I was thinking, but.
And this is a, when.
Or like a small, so instead of, instead of,
Oh, I understand.
So when they're already out
For what? Per month,
Per-
per month. No, for, I mean, at the end of the day, so this is what I see, if he's here, I don't even think we should put a limit on it, if he's here, if there's anything to be replaced, it needs to be replaced.
No, that's 100% true, yeah.
Yeah, well, what would they put a limit on?
Some people do that, I like, you know.
I'll trust me, I will find out, I mean, you're, in the business, I'm not the guy to play with those games, and it's,
We're not-
we did talk about it, so, yeah, so I don't, again, if we are going to do business, and I will, as you said, trust me to be there.
Right.
You cannot come charge me for a sprinkler that had $40, and you know the sprinkler that cost me $5, and that's if you go crazy, I'm talking about a tip,
Yeah.
Just, but I don't know, it's up to you guys, what do you want, you wanna put a limit, you wanna keep it open, like, as repairs as needed? For the small things,
I mean, what are you guys? Normal,
Gary Schwartz, and in the landscape industry over 20 years. Number one, we save money by not having a technician come back. 'Cause they're charged. So we save money right there. I would say, yeah, put a limit on the nozzles, rotors, that shouldn't be,
not so much,
a lot of money.
yeah,
There's other things that are more money that you should get, hold on and improve,
sure.
that's what I would do.
Yeah, all right, then we do it this way, we just put it $1,000 for a month. You just, I mean, we go from there.
Yeah, if it's something bigger, you're gonna find out.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah.
A little bit of time.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, if you think about it, if the limit's $1,000, we'll get to a sweet spot, and that's why I want you to walk, or somebody to walk.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Because a lot of times, when you take over a property, all you guys have is what they do, right? Unless you actually walk out and qualify it yourself. So that, usually that first inspection, we're always gonna, we get it the way it is, we always find a whole lot more than what anybody's expecting.
Yeah.
And then that's why I like to have a representative there to qualify everything that we're saying is wrong or needs work on. After that, you're gonna get to a sweet spot. And it's not gonna be $1,000.
Sure.
That's a good number, but we're not gonna get that every single time.
well, we hope.
Yeah, I know, and that's the thing, so like, if it was, then you'd be like, right, that's a red line, so I'm just telling you, I want to be transparent and honest, like, that won't happen, because you'll get to a sweet spot, and there could be months where we don't find anything, and it's just, oh, there you go.
So, okay,
Quick question, the pet peeve of mine in this neighborhood has always been the constant lights out in the entryway. Like, whether it's the waterfall or whether, that's nothing to do, but then there's the landscape uplights that light all of our trees, and 50% of them are out practically all. I don't know. We can't seem to get that fixed, but, okay, that's not you either. So my question is though, the landscaping tends to grow over these lights, and even when the lights are working, you can't even tell if they're working because they're not shining on the trees. I know that's a tiny little detail, but when you drive in at night, you notice like these trees that are beautifully lit up and then some they're just not. Like, do you, kind of clear a little window for lights or something? I know our landscapers have smashed lights.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
With their mowers,
Yeah.
just ignore the fact they broke 10, 15 lights,
It's a small thing, but instead of using the weed whacker around the lights, try to use a zero turn, mower, and it doesn't work successfully every single time, and then I'm being broken.
Right,
I know what to say, so it's just little details here and there. That's why I was making sure like the entrance is like really important to prevent, because business is business at the end of the day. Of course, you break the light, you're gonna be paying for it. Do I want to go through that and wait, till talk to the management company, they send their team to fix it, order this, just stay away from that and we whack it and everybody's happy. Simple as that,
The ones in the bushes that they get blocked, we need to identify those, know where they are. It's pretty like, and it sounds like we'll probably need to, maybe create a little circle within that plan. It's not hard to do. And then that's just something that he would follow up with and make on his note sheet, specifics for each job. Ultimately, get past the foreman and just constantly reminding those guys, hey, let's make sure you expose the lights. You only really have to do that right once.
exactly, it's just one of the details, like Robert said, just little details.
So I'm really sure the answer is yes, but it's gonna be the same team dedicated to this community, right? 100% perfect, yeah. Because, the reason I'm saying this, of course, it's gonna take a couple of times. I would give it like maybe 2-3 months to they know completely perfectly this area. Then after 3 months, I'm not expecting to have the same issues, it's the same team doing the same job here. I understand mistake happen, but if the same mistake occurred every single time, then there's gonna be a problem. Sure. I'm trying to say, that's good to know, it's gonna be the same team. I'm assuming it's gonna be a team lead with it.
Oh, yeah.
Team lead, yeah, that's really cool, yeah.
Yeah, we have a foreman, then we have a production manager, which is basically his assistant. He drives like a pickup truck, how we drive the tall load over up. So that is the direct. For instance, we're gonna oversee the account on like your emails and important communication, he's also going to count the quality. But he also has another guy underneath him that drives the actual crew. And then on that crew, there's a team leader for that crew, which we call foreman. So there's 3 different management tiers that you get with your team that comes out. And then of course, obviously, there's stuff.
All right, the other thing is, we see the fertilizing, the proposal of how many times? Francisco said it's gonna be 4.
So 4 leaf on turf and 3 shrubs.
Okay. That's which technically that's completely, is that included one of them pest control or not? Okay, so that's technically completely fine with what we have in community. But of course, if, we decided to chip them out around, they can always do that when they can get it. Or it's always up to us, So. Yeah, that's different. The trees, the palm trees is completely different, which as a matter of fact, is going to be the first thing to happen.
Right.
When they, we move forward.
Yeah, no, they need it, and we'll get right on it. That's, you're hearing it directly from me, that'll be, we can start working in the first week. I'll have those drenched immediately.
All right.
That, it's so frustrating, I gotta tell you, man. To be
I
told
lost the palm tree.
that all our trees are dying
One there outside.
by a landscaper who then resigns, and, part of this, we're too demanding of thing. To tell all our trees have a disease, they're all dying, and it seems like in your mind that they need fertilizer. It's so frustrating to me because it's just, it's crazy. You know what I mean? And I appreciate your candid opinion that they need fertilizer. Not, if they're dying, forget it, wait till they die, instead of,
Take it out, put it in one day. So, so I'm a CPO, which is certified pest control operator, recognized in the state of Florida. There's not many of us in this county. I think it's like maybe 40 or 50.
Yeah.
He's also one. So we've gone through extensive training through UF. We're also both certified horticulturalists and regularly certified. So like that is my background. That's what I did for many years before I stepped into the whole this. And that's truly what I'm.
Right.
Yes, they can die and they're trending that way, but they also are some, there's still a lot of, we'll make it.
And we're also mentioning is get that, one of our biggest differentiators, not only our communication, but we're also, proactive and honest about it.
Right.
Rather take care of what you got and make sure it stays alive and just, tell you it's dying without.
Right. Yeah, I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah.
The only question I have left is, would you guys be able to start in October? Or would you prefer November? Because technically, our current landscaper is on the hook through October. So they, November, but basically, just to make it easy. So would you guys be able to start for October so we can release them? If not,
What would you guys? Honestly, like, we wanna help you guys too, so.
So let's put it this way. I will want to put pressure on you guys as well. If there's room, we can work together, that's good, but I want to get what's best for you.
So here, the only thing on our side would be that right now, we're in the middle of October, we start, a lot of our book of business goes to every other week. So if we took you on at the beginning of October, we would be running your job for the first 2 weeks on an overtime rate with us. But if you guys are like just over it and want us here, then we're gonna come to work. We wanna make you guys happy.
Basically, what you're saying, November is gonna work better for you?
That October would be ideal, so November would be better for us.
I mean, you're saying November 12th?
November 12th is the date that they had in their resignation letter.
October, so technically 60 days would be October 12th, so we could, middle of October works, and then we can.
October works for you?
Middle of October would be perfect.
So, wait a second, we didn't even decide if we're gonna hire or not.
So we gotta know the start date. And, here's the other problem, we have till November 14th, and, never wanna say this in front of somebody, but there's only one there.
Yeah,
And
no, it's.
what they're saying and what they're providing, and we're getting information better.
No,
So,
I see what you're talking about, but they're the only ones here, because we wanna, I said, no, they wanna do this the only ones here, we can put them out of fields, if it's possible, we wouldn't hire a good company, that's what I was working behind the scenes to find a good one, and did I find a good one?
Yeah.
Alright, so, yeah, I mean, so I think.
I have 3 landscapers, they're now the 4th that we've actually had, and we had several other in here, and most of them all wanted to say,
The trees are
you
dead.
need to juice them with an injection, they're still gonna die, so, you might as well look at ripping them all out and putting something else, because whatever it is, it's just gonna keep happening.
I
So,
really appreciate the honesty, and as I think to you guys, like, I know a little bit what I'm talking about, so if there is, it's gonna be always project for you guys to do like, I'm really sure all my friends here are the same thing. I don't like to be, I told you that, to be taken advantage of, and I can't, it's, we build a good relationship, again, before I go for anybody else to do any kind of project in this community, I will come back to you guys first, hey, if we can agree on something, and the numbers are right, and it's good, why not? You work with us, I'm trying to say, it's not, we're not the type of, you work for us, you work with us. If everything is good, turning one, then you're gonna be working for us. I'm just saying, I'm trying to say, yeah, but that's, I think, everything is said, so just to be clear, the basic service number, how much was it, for just again?
9,400 a month, 112 for the
Yeah,
year,
total year. It was
112.
What, how much?
112,000.
112 for base, and then 10.
Yeah, 1,400,
One.
excluding the fertilization.
Yeah.
So
So it comes to 95 a month?
94,60.
94, which really, that's good. That service specifically is going to be for the basic service, Just to make sure, like, including trash pickup specifically for fun stuff, you know, whatever. With that being said, any other questions about landscapers?
No.
Well, you guys like? Alright, so I'm gonna. Alright, motion to, hire you as long for our service.
So it's a, yeah, so,
For mid-October.
yeah, so motion then to approve U.S. Law's proposal presented in the agenda
Yes, sir.
for the services to begin, what date in October?
Yeah, it's okay. We want to put that $1,000.
We can do it in the next meeting when.
We can include that in
We
this.
can include it
Yeah.
here, all right, that's some good, yeah.
So we would be ready to go between the 20th and the 23rd. I'm not exactly sure what day, that's another comment, do you have a particular day that you would want to be scheduled on?
Oh, one thing I wanna see, I'm glad you brought that up, you guys can handle this community in 1 day or 2 days?
We're gonna shoot for, our plan is to do it in one, okay, the bigger.
Okay.
So you might see, the way I'm looking at it now,
We just so you know, we don't have a problem with both.
okay,
If you can do it in 1 day, up to you, if you can do it in 2 days, up to you.
I'm thinking there's one with two trucks, two trailers, putting on both trucks. And that would be the way I think we're gonna approach it.
This is, we're talking about only the beginning, or it's gonna be for,
That's the thing, so it's difficult for me to say that now, I'll know within 30 days. It's gonna take me about 30 days to really understand the operation of it. We wanna do the best job that we can, we wanna be efficient. If we could do it in 1 day, not have mowers ride around your community for 2 days and people, you know, our mowers going down the streets and the loud noise and yada, yada, yada. We would prefer to do it 1 day, but I can't really say for sure until I can get through talking.
It's fair enough. Talking about, we guys won't be working in the week, right? I don't want homeowners to be complaining about.
Francis, you might be swimming there.
Technically, 8 at night, 8 AM, 8 at night, whatever. People are.
I don't want to get long more than Saturday or Sunday, anyway. So I think, yeah, Richard, keep going.
So what date would it be then? Because you were saying October 20th to the 23rd.
Between the 20th and 23rd.
So the 20th is a Monday. You want to just have it start that day, they might not know that day.
Yeah, and then if they come, yeah.
The start for that week, whatever day. it ends up being that week.
Yep, exactly right.
Okay. And then, with the proposal, anything that would be optional services, are we including the fertilizer?
Yeah,
Yep.
$10,000 for fertilizer. This is basically what we need as a number, but again, if we need more, of course, we're gonna handle it at a time. And by the time we're gonna have the first meeting with you, Kai, it's gonna be the 2nd of October.
Well, let's, we'll get this and then we can figure that out of what it is.
Just because I'm thinking about, what we're gonna do with them about the palm trees, because it's the first thing you need to be handled right away.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Okay. So then, from what I'm hearing, basically it'd be somebody making a motion to approve U.S. lawn landscape, proposal presented in the agenda, including, the agenda pack, including the optional fertilizer services
And the hurricane cleanup.
and hurricane cleanup.
Yeah, we good with that? Yeah.
Irrigation cap is included in that or no?
$4,000 kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we-
yeah,
we're
so-
going to- Yeah.
So approve the proposal presented in the agenda packet, including the optional fertilizer service, the hurricane cleanup with services to begin on October 20th, 2025, with also adding a allowance of $1,000 per month.
Yeah.
Does that sound correct to everybody?
Yes, sir.
Good? Okay. So would anybody like to, you don't have to state all that, but if you'd like to make a first on that motion?
I motion it.
Okay, so that's a first for Rabah. There's a second.
Go Ron.
I'll second.
Second from Ron. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
We need to do a motion to end Prince and Sons early.
yeah, so we do have that approved. So then the next would be a motion to terminate Prince and Sons agreement early, which they have requested, which would be also on October 20th, or the 19th, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it's the day before, the 19th would be their last day.
So moved.
Okay, so that was first from Kevin for October 19th, termination Prince and Sons as the last day of service.
Second.
Second from Rabah. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so the motion has passed. Okay,
Should we reply to your list? Oh, you guys are fine. Thank you, Mark.
okay. So yeah, with that, we can discuss if you like the transition.
Yeah.
So I'll let Kai speak of what they.
Yes, so I mean, as far as transition, over meeting, the next one coming up on the second. I'll be the person here, so I am fine with coming out. I don't know from a process perspective, if it would make sense for GMS to still put the package
I
together.
think that would be perfectly fine.
Yeah, and then I'll run the meeting and then we'll take it from there.
So yeah, so then essentially what we can do is GMS will put together the packet. Obviously, we'll coordinate with Kai, which we've already kind of started doing, but we're gonna sending them, details of things that are going on. Obviously, all the records, everything of that nature. We can put together the package. And then we'll list the things that we do know. Obviously, that agenda package will still go out for the chair's review first, or at least the agenda, and then the packet will go out prior to the meeting. If Kai has any input or anything that they'd like to include or has any questions, we'll be available for those answers. And then they would essentially run the meeting, but we had that there for them to work off. It's very similar to what we did when we took over. We ran off of previous managers' agenda packet, but. So,
If that works for everybody.
That works for us, no
Yeah.
problem.
Okay.
Is your field manager gonna be present next meeting?
Yeah, sure.
You're the field manager? Oh, that's-
Field manager.
that's just you, because I didn't know he was the field manager. But anyway,
I assume, but.
He's not getting late. I had to go pull him out.
So, yeah, about, you missed what we were talking earlier about, so I'm gonna be, the liaison for the landscapers. And literally, before it came in, as well as it's all about communication, even if it's a good morning email, I need to be copied on. Every single email. All this community, have someone do the landscaping, every single email. The point we're doing that, I don't like personally to stay in the dark. If there's issues, doesn't mean I'm gonna get pissed or mad, I just wanna know. Copied and, aware of more editing. Do you have a problem with that? Oh, there you go. I wanna hear it.
I want to piggyback on that because one of the big and important points of discussion when we had your interview, Kai, was having a consolidated list of issues that this community is, and the CDD is dealing with on an ongoing basis. Sure. Some of them are resident issues, some of them are things that come up from the board discussion. The list is long. And there are things that are various statuses, of being addressed. And so, we talked to you guys at the interview about giving us, having that list, having it accessible to all the board members and having a weekly, maybe on Friday, update to those, items. That could just be, non-applicable, meaning nothing happened during the week, or
So we can all stay on the same page,
because we get resident inquiries, and that was key, okay? And so I don't think either any of you were here during that. So that's how important that is. And also, you were CC'd on my email to GMS, asking them to consolidate that list and bring it back to the forefront, provide it to you with a status of all of those items. And I would ask if you could do that a little bit in advance of that meeting, in case I find that I think you missed something.
Yeah, I'm not gonna wait till October
That
1st.
way, or if we want to get on the phone and discuss,
Yeah.
status.
Yeah, no problem.
Of a variety of it, because the status could change between now and then. Some of those items go back to the night you resigned, and we were going to be getting proposals.
And some have proposals incoming or.
Yeah, so
submitted
that's why I'm
without
saying,
seeing,
like, by
so
the time it actually gets, maybe it can be CC'd on, that's fine, but
Yeah.
we don't need to bother them until it's like done. And like I said, sometime between now and then, I'm sure there'll be even updates to it.
Yeah, and we have a status update for that, again, no problem coordinating with Kyle.
And then in the system that you guys propose to use, for tracking, you know, I'm not saying have all that in there, night one, but those are the kinds of things that when we have, an agenda, and some of those items, you know, aren't typically on the agenda, but when we get to a field discussion or an amenity center discussion or whatever, that's when we start to, where's this, what's going on with this, what's going on with that, you know?
So let me give you my philosophy on this a little bit. So I've been a district manager doing this, vice president of CDD services at our company now, but I still obviously actively manage districts. I've been doing this for about 20 years. I'm the current chairperson on my own CDD board up in Pasco County, and I've been chair of another district, so I've been on your guys' side of the table as well. My goal as your district manager is basically, you know, this is a business meeting. All of the updates, all of the questions, I'm gonna be blind carbon copying you guys on everything, right? So we got stuff going on, we have updates. I'm sending it out to everybody, BCC, so you guys can't crosstalk. We don't have any sunshine law issues. My expectation is when I send that out to you, fire back questions. You know, tell me what you think, all those sort of things. Because what I want to do as best as possible is get you to a point where, generally speaking, for the most part, you've got your questions answered before you walk in this room. So when you walk in this room, it's decision time, right? Like you got stuff going on, we've got you updates. Hopefully you've gotten all your questions answered, although there's always going to be a couple things, right? But we're basically motioning, seconding, a little discussion if there's any clarification points, but that way we can kind of move through the process because, you know, obviously the last thing I want to do is come into a meeting and you guys got, you know, have to discuss something for a real long time because you haven't gotten all the details. So that's my plan. Generally speaking, as far as updates, I know Kai has a system that they use for logging projects, and we can do that. Obviously, I have one that I've used on my own, just a database that I created. I can show you both versions, whatever you like, whatever works best. But can generate a report at any time. Realistically, on a weekly basis, you're probably not going to get much out of it because you might get like one or two things updated weekly. Generally speaking, every 2 weeks or every month, or as things happen, I'm going to be updating you. But again, that's entirely up to you. I just want to kind of, you know.
I see your point, which I understand what you said, but it doesn't hurt to be updated.
Yeah. Well, I just want to level set, right? Like you're like, it's been a week, there's always one thing that just.
And also just to make sure, clarifying the distinction, I appreciate the regular emails and CCCs, because then we will know. But I still believe it's an importance of the list. Things drop off when they're done, and they're not anymore. And you know, I had suggested in the meeting, I said, this could just be simply a shared Excel spreadsheet. You know, just put columns in, you put issue, summary, status, whatever. But then, you know, the other folks said that they had stuff that was a little more, up your alley for tracking these sort of things.
Yeah,
But,
I'll send you guys out some templates,
yeah.
and you can take a look, say, yeah, this works fine, or we'd like to see something more. Again, Kai has an elaborate, an Airtable system that they use. We can use that. You know, I just want to give you the data, so, you know, whatever way works best.
Pretty much trying to avoid is the, you know, the constant, community member during the 28 days of the erosion. What's going on?
Sure.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
Yep.
I don't know. I'm sorry. Like, I'm tired of that.
No, so I totally get that. And, you know, the one thing I've learned over the years, and obviously we all know this, right? Even if something's not happening, not communicating that it's not happening is a big problem. So totally get that. And, you know, again, it's only to my benefit also, because I don't want to walk in here not having updated you, giving you information to give to your residents, and all of a sudden we have a packed room of residents that are saying, hey, we haven't heard anything. That makes my job.
And I made that point during the interview. I said, when that communication is present, you're not going to have 1,000 emails from me in 8 months.
Yeah.
You'll have none. Because I'm not going to be pestering you to find out what's going on.
Yeah.
Very simple.
That won't be a
I
problem.
appreciate it. Yeah.
That sounds good, then. Anything else?
Yeah, I just want to ask Michelle, so you do have your, new counsel as well on the line. Michelle, since Kai is taking over, do we want to do a motion for that? Because obviously we still have a contract to put together for Kai. And then, our contract goes to the 5th. So do we want to do like a motion to approve Kai to begin work on October 1st? Again, we're still going to be coordinating with the meeting that's on the 2nd and everything. And then another motion to amend the termination date for GMS,
So what is GMS's termination date now?
October 5th.
October 5th. And so you want to amend it back to September 30th? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because Kai was gonna take over for the meeting on October 2nd, so I would assume we just start at the beginning of the month, which would be October 1st.
Yeah, I have not seen the contract for Kai, so we need to
Yeah,
put that.
Yeah, Andy said he'll get that over to you.
I'll get that over to you, Michelle.
Okay, yeah, we're running a little short on time to get all this done, but yeah, so we would do, I would say a motion to approve, the new management Kai to start effective October 1, subject to council review of the agreement and delegating authority to the chair to sign the agreement following council review. And then a separate motion to terminate GMS contract effective September 30th.
What she said, motion, first one, made by me.
It's all good here.
Yeah, so that should work. And just get if you can get that contract over to me as soon as you can. I'll be out tomorrow, but we'll get it done next week.
We'll get it shipped over to you, in the next 24, 48 hours, and then you'll have it for you when you get back next week.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Okay,
That's a motion on the first.
yep, so we've got the first from Kevin. We have a second. Second from William. All in favor?
Aye.
As passed. Okay, and then so with that, it would just be a motion to approve GMS with the early termination on September 30th, 2025.
Motion that one as well.
Okay, so that's first from Kevin. Second.
I'll second.
Second from Ron. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, so with that, we do have supervisor requests and audience comments, so we'll open this up to the audience. Audience members, you can speak to the board. Just ask that you state your name and address for the record, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Is there any audience comments at this time? Yes, sir.
Ronald, ladies and 20 minutes ago, just got a quick question. Who owns the website?
The district.
Huh?
It's the district's.
It's the district, so other people go over.
That's part of the transfer.
Because right now we haven't been seeing any kind of notices, I know the transition, maybe some things that I didn't know about this meeting. Got no notice.
It's posted on the website,
Yeah. but-
and yeah, there's not mail notices.
This Mass Mill. We're paying this contract, Mass Mill. I can't be publish it to the paper.
Yeah, the board can do mailings if they'd like.
Quick question, the constant contact as well, I mean, that's an independent entity, also be turned over?
Correct. All of that is
We never
owned by
talked
the board.
about this, but, it doesn't happen too often, but we did approve our constant contact video, the email blast to neighbors. We don't have any other official, mode of communication, and so it was an opt-in thing that we took advantage of the security, card turnover, we give people an opportunity to opt in, and then there's a link where they can opt in as well. So, is that something, that, you guys are, if we say, can you send out a notification that we have a meeting, by email blast?
Yeah, so, I mean, we do typically do that for some of our communities. We have, basically a communications department that does email blast updates, those sort of things. So it's probably just coordinating that list and either using the constant contact or using the internal tools that we have. So we can work through that.
So, yeah, I mean, we were gonna replace constant contact with some internal tools that you use. I don't know if legally we're required to have people opt in again. Yeah, you know, the rules regarding email and spam and opt in, opt out is pretty substantial for whatever reason compared to other communications. So, I guess it's something we have to sort out. Just, I to take that opportunity to mention to you, that's something that we have and you need to either dump it or have you.
So we can, with our communication person, find out, like, not being your attorney, Michelle can weigh in, but if you're having people newly sign up or re-sign up, you probably will have to go through the opt-in process again, only because submitting an email address to a CDD, in the most technical sense, public record, letting people know that sort of thing. But we can find out some of those details.
Any other audience comments?
One more. I know. We're talking about the lights out front by the entrance way with all the trees. Half of the lights are sitting in the grass, not even in the mulch bins. No wonder they're getting broke. It's not rockets. And that's the reason why half of them don't work at it.
See, before you just shut up, we're talking about the same issue. It's the landscapers hit them with the lawnmowers.
Yeah, I know.
So we were talking about it. So the plan is, you know, to stay away from them and just re-recommend should be fine. And there's some of them actually, they're buried in the bushes, so they won't feel the.
First in the mulch bin, put the lights in the mulch bin.
I'm thinking more than you are, trust me. So I'm just.
Yeah, we did talk about that. They're actually gonna take a look at it and, get the house out. And make those lights.
I keep my 3 minutes, here's the mulch on the breaker plane in the hill, I always watch it out every time it rains on the south side. Is that CDD property or is that homeowner property?
Breakers Lane, yeah.
Right, as you come in the entrance, certainly on the south side,
Oh, that's all.
they always watch it out every time it rains.
So what it is, actually, the specific section over there, it's getting a lot of, water. And there's something we need to work, the plants actually are overwatered. That's why some of them are dying. We need to control that. Maybe down the road, maybe we'll have to discuss, maybe replace different kind of plants, because there's a lot of water there. Then when it comes to the mulch time, just saying hypothetically, you can go with the coconut, how we call it? Yeah, it's cheaper and it stays better than the big chips, because the big chips, whenever windy or whatever, it's like water's gonna start washing out. Am I wrong or right?
You're right, yeah, it sticks together, it sticks
Yeah.
together.
So that's probably one of the options going to solve this issue. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. So we talked about it later down the road. I mean, we are basically in November, that's the time we're gonna talk about mulch if we wanna do that, which, you know, that's about the time hurricane season will be done. But yeah, I know exactly what he's talking about. Yeah, we good.
Okay, any other audience comments? Any audience comments on Zoom? Just use the raise your hand feature. We do have one on Zoom at the moment, but just use the raise your hand feature. If you'd like to speak to the board. Okay. Seeing none. So with that, you do have your meeting October 2nd, 2025 here at this location. It was scheduled for 5 p.m. Again, we will coordinate with Kai. Okay. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us and Kai as well. And with that, we would just be looking for a motion to clear. Yeah, okay.
Do we have an update? I'm not sure if the board knows about the water fountain, but it goes back a little while that I raised the issue that the water fountain wasn't even pouring anymore, much less the lights not working. And the pool vendor, you know, dug deep dive into that and found a lot of damage. It actually turns out there's a salt cell there, so it is actually designed to clean and chlorinate itself, just like a saltwater pool.
Yeah.
But none of that was functioning. You know, there was a lightning strike right over there, a tree nearby, could have blasted everything for all I know, but so I approved this first step, that they needed to do before they could even tell us the total cost, to get the lights back working in the waterfall because of all the electric damage. What is going on with that?
I know that they did some work. I'll have to get back to you, and I'll have, field and email the board on what exactly the status is, and we'll include Kai as well.
Is that what you asked about? The estimate, was it that one?
Yeah, it was sitting out for the estimate, which was, the chair, as he said, he approved, because part of that was, it was filled with water, and so there was some damage from whatever caused it, I'm not sure, but it was being worked on. I don't have a status tonight, but it is on that list that we're also compiling, but I can get you an update.
Very good. All right.
Just looking now. Okay. So with that, if there's any other business, we just be looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
First from Wayne,
Second.
the second from Rabah. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion has passed. The time is 6:40 PM. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
How do you feel?
Thanks, Michelle.
What time?